Daryl invited me to a Pro-Am in Vegas. So I took old Route 66, shout out to Mario Lemieux, and then I drove through Joshua Tree at sunset, and it was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen in my life. I arrived in Vegas with enough time to take in a few views before resting my head in advance of our first round at Southern Highlands. I had no idea that it would be the best score of my life. My index translates to a 9 handicap at Southern Highlands. And we'll jump right into it on the first hole, where after a good drive, my approach shot almost takes out my pro. We've missed an awkward spot here, and the game plan is get it on the green and get out with bogey. But I didn't realize the greens were running at about 12 here. The first putt is about 8 feet past the hole, and my career score is going to begin with a double. I hit a good shot here on 2, and I'm just inside my pro's ball. And together we're reading this putt. I always like to evaluate it from the low side of what I perceive to be the slope. And I also always want to know what the ball is going to do at the hole. I'm seeing a lot of movement in this, but it's hard for Zach to commit to a break he doesn't see. But now that I've had my read and had it confirmed by watching Zach's putt, I'm able to get over mine and make a great birdie. Our third hole of the day actually plays as 18 at Southern Highlands. It's a beautiful split fairway par 5, uphill all the way to the clubhouse. And I hit 2 good shots here before taking aim at a pin really tucked into the back right corner of this green. I'm lucky to hit the green and have a good look at it here. And I'm reading these greens well, but still struggling a bit with pace. But I make the comebacker for par. I suspect a long hitter could drive this 400-yard hole. I'm a short hitter and didn't get all of that one, and it still goes 300 yards. And this isn't my best approach, but I will be putting for birdie. Excuse Richard in the way of the shot here. This one is much better judged for pace, and we'll clean it up for another par. I invested in some speed sticks last week, and I'd love if by the end of the season I could hit 7 irons into these numbers instead of 5 irons. But in any case, this one finds the green, and it's a really slick putt here that I do manage to cozy up to tap-in distance. Sometimes I find it easier playing these 570-yard par 5s compared to 500-yard ones. I know I'm not reaching this in 2, and I'm able to take my second shot here and play it well away from the water and leave myself with not much in. And we're starting to play the best brand of good golf here. Boring golf. Hitting fairways, hitting greens, and never leaving myself with too much work. So much so that I can hit a bad putt and still get out with a par. Years of pitch and putt really taught me to hone my game in from 90 to 100 yards, and that's exactly what I'll have in here on 7. I fire a dagger from 90, leaving myself only about 8 feet. And unfortunately, this one's not going to drop. It's a missed opportunity, and I feel like everyone's career round has a what-if moment, and here's mine. It's only about 230 if you go straight at the hole here, and I proceed to dump 2 in a row into the water. Now I'm dropping and trying to get up and down for double bogey. And the coming shot filmed from down the line distorts the distance of the putt a bit, and in any event, I clean it up and get out of here. We're back to steady golf on the 9th hole, with the drive up the right that won't hurt us. And that's a pin I'm not going to take aim at. I'm playing out a thick rough, and my ball lands short and trundles on. And it's a pretty straightforward 2-putt to close out the 9. So there were 2 avoidable doubles on the front, but I liked the way I was driving the ball, and save for a 3-putt on the first hole, we were pretty tidy inside 100 yards, and hope to carry that momentum heading into the back.
That's it. That'll be right side fairway.
This is another one where we get favorable rollout, all the way to inside 100 yards. And this one's on line, but ends up scooting about 15 or 20 feet past the hole. And I underread this putt the whole way, but tidy up the 3-footer for another par. I've mentioned that good golf is boring golf, and this is another boring and not great shot that finds the green. But you have to drop a putt or 2 in your career round, and this one does find the back of the hole. And be sure to follow along. I made a handful of putts like this at Pebble, and that video is coming soon. This place is the 9th hole at Southern Highlands, and it's hard to remember you're in a desert when you play a course this lush. And hopefully that distracts you from my first top of the day. I get away with it, and I'll be inside 130 coming in here, and I commit the cardinal sin on this green, which is missing long. I opt to putt from my lie, and it's probably better than I would have done with a wedge, but it is going to leave me with a bit of work for par here. But I put a firm stroke on it, and it finds the back of the hole. For my money, this is the toughest hole on the course. It's 430 uphill the whole way, and a pretty challenging green complex too. This is another pin tucked in a corner that I'm not going to flirt with, and I end up missing the green a bit left and having a long putt from off the green here.
I just hammered it. Yeah, a bit too much.
It's so much that I'm still not technically putting when I hold this one out for par.
Oh, that's nice. So good.
Left.
Good swing, nice.
Left.
Wow.
Left.
No, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect.
Very nice.
Thanks, Daryl. This is a key moment of the round. I hooked my approach left into a pretty tricky spot.
Oh, Adam, why would you do that?
And then I do this. We'll have basically the same shot again now. And I'd love to be able to get up and down and at least get out of here with no worse than bogey. And would you look at that, today I do. It was pretty cool to see a plaque on this hole, commemorating it as the last hole ever designed by Bobby Jones. It's a pretty straightforward par 3,
Anthony, what do you see on this one?
and I almost make a birdie on it, but after the last hole, we're just fine getting back on the par train. This is our final par 5 of the day, and I often gauge a course by what I think of its par 5s. And this is the most boring one at Southern Highlands, and it's still spectacular. So we'll conclude that this is a great golf course. Apparently it counts Steve Wynn and a whole host of Vegas athletes as members. And me, I'm just happy to be here. And a shout out to that pin too for saving this first putt from a disastrous outcome.
Oh, nice. Oh, good swing.
It's our final elevated tee shot of the day, and it's another one that we're going to get more than 300 out of. And while I have the 90 to 100 yard shot dialed in, apparently I'm just a hair off at 110. And this one misses the green a pace short, but we will still be putting.
Settle down.
This one rolls 2 or 3 feet past, and we clean it up. Our final hole of the day is a long par 4 by my standards, and even after a good drive, I'm going to be left with my 4 hybrid in.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's online, but ends up going right through the green. It's my final test of the day for the flat stick, and it's a tough lag putt, about 45 feet and breaking hard down the hill. And I gauge it very, very well, and I'm happy to clean it up. We beat our target score by 6 strokes today, so our gross 75 is a net 66, meaning if I played like this every day, I'd be a 2 handicap. We know that I don't play like that every day, and towards that end, I have a video coming up in the near future talking about the handicap system and how we should manage our expectations relative to our skills.
Part of your putt, I think, is downhill, and then it's
6.